Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Hope you had a great weekend. Okay, we'll start off the week as we do more frequently than not on this program. Is politics or the other one? If it's some aspect of politics or the other. But today we're sort of taking off from an educational, if you want, a management point of view, and that's because we have a management consultant, a leadership consultant as our guest today, and that's in the person of Dr. David Oladipo. Dr. Oladipo, also a reverend gentleman, is the author of a book, The Real Leader. This, I believe, was launched back in April.
Yes, 17th April.
So you're very welcome, first of all, Dr. Oladipo. We're delighted to have you. And
Thank
congratulations on your birthday, some months ago.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yori
Yori Folari.
Thank you. It's a privilege for me to be here. I've watched you for many years on the TV, and so I'm here on set with you today. Thank you for having me.
Indeed. Thank you very much.
You have been an inspiration, and
you're so kind.
You are using your space maximally to shape, to help, to contribute to the building of our nation. And I say kudos to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and thanks to TVC for the platform.
Yes.
Because without TVC and the platform,
that's right.
It's a bit like winking in the dark.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
that's right.
Let's look now at the very important. You see, everybody wants to be a leader, because when I say everybody wants to be a leader, they know that the leader, in fact, they look at the leader as probably the opposite of the loser. And so you, in the Yoruba language, leader le mi ma gente mi o. Okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right for you to say that. But do you know what it takes to be a leader? And I think that's one of the things that we could talk about, because we're looking at Nigeria, the leadership challenge. That's, the subject, Nigeria, the leadership challenge. We want to sort of look at it. So we've been at this since 1960. Since we put Nigeria's name in there.
65 years.
And I suppose we've had varying shades of the quality of leadership, because oftentimes you hear when we do our analysis and political discussions that there are some things that if they had been done 10 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe even 30 years ago, you said 65 years ago, we wouldn't be where we are now. So let's look, if you will, Dr. Oladipo. So who is a true leader?
Thank you. Let me start by commenting on what you said earlier on, that everybody wants to be a leader. It's maybe you are talking in terms of public leadership, politics.
Yes.
Maybe that's what you mean.
Being number one.
Because as a leader myself and as somebody that trains leaders, not everybody wants to be a leader. Okay,
because they know it is not tender meat.
Yeah.
It is very tough meat.
And sometimes, they think that they don't feel adequate.
Okay.
Many people think that they don't have what it takes.
Because you're not bringing in the matter of skill. Once it begins to get to the matter of what it takes, there's a high skill component to leadership.
Yeah, but there's a starting point for everybody.
Okay.
Dr. John Maxwell defined leadership as influence. Now, when you look at the meaning of that word influence, you will agree with me that everybody has influence. That means everybody is a leader. Everybody can be a leader. There are people that I have influence over. There's nobody that doesn't have influence over somebody.
Okay.
But many are not intentional about the use of that influence.
Okay.
They're not intentional about
just use
the
this
use
word,
of that
intentional.
Influence. Yes. There are many things that we do that we are not intentional about. Or rather, there are many capacities that are locked up on our inside that if we are intentional, it's amazing how, boom, those things will come out.
Okay.
So if we agree that leadership is influence, and then we also agree that everybody has influence to a larger or a lesser degree, that means that everybody can be a leader. Leadership, covers every aspect of human life. It is not just government. For example, you said earlier on that some people see maybe losing as the opposite of leadership, that, you know, I want to...
The leader wins.
A leader wins, you know. That is that is not a very... That is, maybe we have limited it to the era of politics now.
Oh,
where this person won.
I didn't mean
because a real leader doesn't
way.
just win, he helps others to win.
Exactly. So I wasn't limiting myself to politics. It might be leadership. It might be in a church. It might be in a company. It might be in a club. Of course, politics is also part of it.
Part of it, yes.
But you know,
can be the family.
Family. You know, it could be that. But you said something. You said you spoke about the being intentional.
Yes, sir.
You know, with that quality, leadership, we need to be intentional about it. I wanted you, simply because you mentioned that, to contrast this with what we sometimes hear of a natural leader. Sometimes when a person is being written up, you hear people talk about he's a natural born leader.
Yeah, people refer to some persons as natural leaders because they are leadership qualities. If I'm going to be a good leader, if I'm going to be a great leader, I have to develop some qualities. There are some things that have to be part of my life. All right, you know, qualities like compassion, qualities like responsibility, qualities like vision. I have to have vision. I have to have a compelling vision. Qualities like motivation, being able to motivate people. All right. Now, some people are called natural leaders because they seem to already have these qualities. They are pronounced.
Okay. They themselves can't explain it.
Yeah, it's just there by virtue of their makeup, their temperamental makeup. You know, these qualities for some are pronounced.
They are able to inspire.
They're obvious, yes.
Those they work with.
So they do those things effortlessly. While for some others that probably don't consider themselves as leaders, or people don't say they are born leaders, those qualities are there, but they are, you know, latent. They are not out.
Okay.
That is where, if you're intentional about it, you would find out that these things are there. All you need to do is develop, pay attention.
A leader has to have a compelling vision, right?
Every leadership starts with vision. Every distinction begins with vision. I mean, when I was coming here today, my destination was defined. I didn't leave my home to just drive around Lagos and roam about the street. I knew where I was going. All right? So it's important. The beginning of leadership is to know what you want, to know where you are going, and then to motivate people to take that journey with you. But it starts with vision. Life generally starts with vision.
It does.
Success begins with vision. Distinction, every good thing begins with vision. And every bad thing also begins with vision.
So a leader, a good leader, a natural born leader, or a trained leader, whatever, he or she has to be able to inspire, motivate others to achieve a set or agreed goal, right?
Yes.
So if a person is not a people's person, for instance, there are some who are reticent, shy, modest, reserved. Those can still be leaders, or he's just going to have to learn the skill, because I see that in other aspects of leadership, they must be able to communicate clearly. But what if you can't communicate for whatever reason? Maybe you're a shy person. Does that mean that you've not become a leader yet?
No, no, it doesn't mean.
Okay.
It does. There are many qualities of leadership. Communication is one of them. So if you're not good in communication, it doesn't mean that you're not good in other areas. However, communication is a skill that can be learned. Okay. You can acquire communication skills. You know, there are training schools that teach you how to communicate, verbal communication, non-verbal communication, you know, being intentional about your use of words and all of those things. So there's nobody really has an excuse to not, you know, achieve his leadership potential on account of whatever perceived flaws or inadequacies exist in his or her life. All right. once we have a commitment that, look, I'm going to be a real leader, I'm going to be a good leader, the next thing is to commit to learning.
Okay. Okay.
Leadership is skill. All right. And so if it's a skill, leadership is an art, leadership is a skill. If it's a skill, then skills can be learned. Skills are acquired.
If you now bring what we've learned in this conversation so far, just a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
Can it therefore be said that some people don't seem to be, well, let me put it this way. If I take what you've defined partially, because I know that the more time you have, the more you will elaborate on it.
Yes.
But if we just take it from what we have now, in the political sphere, I'm not limiting myself to the political sphere, but in the political sphere, there are those who say some people are in the political sphere that don't have any business being in there in the first place.
Many of them.
So you see, this is a big challenge. This is a big challenge because it will ultimately affect anyone, whether it's in a club, whether it's in a company, whatever the unit is, and whether it is in politics. All of this, it can't work well for the groups that make up that entity that a leader is placed on top of. So what is the way out? In other climes, people are prepared for leadership, we hear. For example, let me just, you know, the world famous British school. I wish I had something more local to make this example with. Eton College in the
College,
UK.
yeah.
They say that is where they intentionally groom the leadership the political leadership of tomorrow, and tomorrow could be 20 years from now.
Yes.
So do we have, because we're part of the universe, do we have such facilities ourselves? It doesn't have to be an Eton, which has been going on for, did they say 300-400 years as a school?
Centuries, yeah.
Something like that. Are there any African, we have wise leaders. We've had wise leaders in Africa. You look at Nyerere, you look at some of those people.
Nelson Mandela.
Thank you very much. Mwalimu, you know, all those people. I don't know whether those ones are natural leaders or not, but do we have such clusters where we can learn leadership from?
Yeah, at the moment, you know, we don't, well, at the moment, in the public space, we have the Nigerian Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies in Kuru, in Jos, which is for people in public leadership at a certain level.
At a certain level.
All right? But my opinion is that if you get to that level before you begin to learn leadership, it's too late. It's too late because most of the people that get in there are probably in the mid-40s or in their 50s.
Okay.
They are already most likely formed. And once, like they say on the street, once fish gets dry, it's difficult to bend it. So whatever they're going to teach you at 50 in the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, which is probably the highest public institution for manufacturing leaders for us in Nigeria here. You understand? Now, if I go there at 55, what am I? How flexible am I? How ready am I to unlearn, to relearn?
To relearn.
How ready am I? So if we wait till that time to teach leadership, we waited too late. So what do we do therefore? We start early. Leadership is something that starts, part of what we are advocating for example, we have a vision of setting up a university. We call it the RDO Leadership University. All right? We have that vision because leadership has to be taught right from the cradle. It starts in the home. It's not just the responsibility of the government. All right? It starts in the home. As a father.
You know, sorry, thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
I'm going to come back and ask you something else I found out just preparing for the program. A true leader leads by example. So I'm going to come back. You're gonna break that down. But in the meantime, Mr. Joshua in Irewolide has called in, wants to join the program. Good morning to you, Mr. Joshua.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you. Thank you very much for calling in.
Good morning, and good morning to your guest.
Yes, Dr. Oladipo.
Nice topic.
Dr. Oladipo.
I wish you a successful week.
Amen.
Leadership is something I cherish so much, and I would like to nationalize it. Presently, we have a leader as the president of Nigeria. I want to use that example. That man is a leader, but unfortunately he's finding it difficult to navigate the tough terrain in Nigeria because he's dealing with foreigners. A leader needs other leaders because a leader grooms leaders, not foreigners. You see, the problem we have in Nigeria is that we focus on the theory of rather than the governance of leadership. So, for example, anybody that is going to lead this country and lead it successfully will either be a dictator or not clearly difficult. Because our people are trained to
I'm afraid the quality of the line has gone bad. I'm afraid the quality of the line although we heard you right up until when I came into it, the quality of the line has gone real bad and muffled, and we might not be able to hear you well. So thank you very much for calling in, and we did hear what you did contribute. Now, Dr. Oladipo,
yes,
this
sir.
whole question of a true leader leads by example, demonstrating integrity and commitment to ethical conduct. There's a lot riding beyond leaders. A true leader, I found out, leads by example, demonstrating integrity and a commitment to ethical conduct. There's plenty in there.
It's loaded.
It's loaded. Because it begins to suggest to me that in as long as we're going the classical academic way, you can't really be said to be an example if you're not about to lead by example. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I won't do. In fact, not only not ask you anything that I won't do, I will do it first. You will see it, and then I expect you to follow me.
Yes.
Is that one of the challenges of leadership?
Yeah, it is. It is actually because we have people, I call them pretenders.
I'm afraid your brother, Reverend, has called in. So let's take Reverend Dominic, who has called in. Okay. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Reverend.
Okay, good morning to your guest.
Reverend Dr. Oladipo.
Good morning.
Oladipo, okay. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
You know, I have this emotional feeling when we talk about leadership, especially in a nation called Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Because leadership has a lot of ingredients. And for a man to be a good leader, I think he must have a good followership. Today, we have people who have led this nation, that has integrity. The man in power today, Chief Obifemi Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and many of them. But what kind of leadership have we had in Nigeria that kept us in this mess? Does it mean we don't have people who have visions and dreams? I think we do. Every water we produce its own, fishes around it. I think there's a challenge here. I'm a pastor. I lead a little group of people. But what I understand that the people you lead can make you a bad leader or a good leader. I may be wrong or right. Because it's when you usher your visions, declare your visions and your dreams, somebody has to carry it through. The man in power today, for example, had good intentions, have laid down many policies. But you know that people who is going to carry out these policies, some of them sabotage this policy. So where do you go from there? I have a good friend, Sam Adeni, who always talk about leadership. leadership and look at ourselves. What kind of people are we? So we can provide good leadership. As long as people you are leading is this way, and terribly, maybe, sorry to use that word, it will be difficult for you to find a good leader among us here. For 60 years now, look at where Nigeria is. And we're having intellectuals who are proving themselves outside Nigeria. But how do we build a new leadership? When I look at Nigeria today education system, it looks hopeless. Have you gone to public schools? Have you even gone to university, Nigeria University? My daughter studied somewhere in Nigeria here. I went to that school one day. There were 500 students in one class. You know, I'm a pastor. For me to communicate to 500 audience, I know heavy equipment here we use. But this lecturer was shouting somewhere, and these students were playing somewhere. University. Why we should bring role models. Our education system is horrible. Unless we go back to education system in Nigeria, we can never build a good leader. In the United Kingdom, when you see a young boy in Oxford, United Kingdom has still looking at young boy, young girl as a leader. In Nigeria today, it used to be in Soka or Unilag. But all these schools are Ife. But all these schools have become the same. There's no place we can say today we're building leaders. We must go back to our education system.
Okay.
From primary school to secondary school to university. If we can get good leaders that can lead this nation. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic, for calling in. No doubt that must be, I'm guessing now, must be one of the factors motivating Dr. David Oladipo, to pen the real leader.
The real leader, yes.
Yeah. You heard all that your brother Reverend said there. In fact, he's not very enthusiastic because he seems to be a bit disappointed with the progress that has been made so far.
From the tone of his voice.
Yes. What would you respond to the leadership questions that he raises?
Yeah, he has said the right thing. I mean, we cannot overemphasize the fact that we have that challenge. What are we doing about it? That is what we should discuss. All right, and one of the things that we try to, that we teach in the public space is that leadership begins with us.
Okay.
It is easy to look at the people in leadership. It is easy to look at other people and see what they are not doing well. But those people did not get there overnight. Those people did not get there suddenly, all right? And even if they got there suddenly, who were they before? You wouldn't become, if in your private life, in your private space, you are not getting leadership right. If you become the governor of your state, you will not suddenly become a good leader.
Or for that
you
matter,
cannot give what you don't have.
Or for that matter, a councillor
or a
local government chairman.
So it starts with us. Leadership, if we are going to save Nigeria, if Nigeria will come out of the woods, all of us must accept responsibility.
That we have a part to play.
That we have a part to play.
Okay, and what that...
All of us must accept responsibility.
Exactly, and yet we...
I don't have to be in public office before I do what is right. I see people drink water, eat gala in traffic, and they throw the trash out.
Discipline.
That is not leadership. You don't have to be a commissioner to not do that. You don't have to be the president to not do that.
Going back to what I think Reverend Dominic it was who brought that an aspect of that up, because he was saying that the leader is fine, but what is the followership like?
Leaders come from among the people. I mean, it's not...
And the people must have this utmost respect for the leader, I imagine. Otherwise, there will be questions of followership.
Yeah, leaders come to start with. If you are not a good follower, you are not going to be a good leader. If you are not a good follower, you will not make a good leader. So it starts with, who am I? What are my values? What are my principles? Before I get into, there's leadership in my private life. How am I handling that? Okay. My success at that will determine my success when I come into public office. Okay. All the people, many people that come into public office, that, they just find themselves thrust out into that place, all right? The interrogation should be, what have they done in the private? And I'm not talking about what they've done in terms of success, in terms of the businesses they have built. We're talking about
Although that could be part of it.
Yeah, it could be part of it, because I mean, I've seen many governors who were very successful people in the private life, but in office, it's rubbish.
Okay, one moment, sir. Mr. George in Ikeja, apologies for keeping you waiting, but please go ahead now.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to the guest.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, Dr. Oladipo.
Uncle Yori, the subject of the day is a very wide one.
Very.
Yes, very wide. The leadership is an innate ability. It's an ability granted to the soul, which it can apply in several facets of human activity. That leadership comes from wisdom, and the leader receives from above the ideas and ways to manage human and material resources. But I'm sure that the one that we are discussing this morning is about political governance. I'm sure that is the most popular one people want to know. It's the same principle. So when you find a leader in political governance, first of all, he must have the gift. It's really not something you learn in a classroom. It's a gift. If you enter
but people go to leadership schools.
Yes, leadership ability is a gift. It's an innate gift.
Okay.
It's not something you gain from a classroom. We must get that one right.
Okay.
If you enter an office, for example, and you watch carefully about the operations of a given office, you might discover that the actual person that is leading the activity is a messenger there. Judging from how he coordinates things, his assignments, and all the rest. If that person is not around, that work sort of makes or waits until he comes. Yet, he is not the leader, he is not the most senior in that office. So, what we are saying in terms of political governance is what is the ability of the person in charge of the political governance to perceive the right way to apply this political wisdom, this wisdom of leadership into politics. Not everybody has it.
All right, then.
That is what I see in the current president. I have been saying it on this program. Sooner than later, people will get to know what I am saying. He's gifted for it. And if you see the way he's applying it into what he's doing, you will see that it's a unique pattern. They are not necessarily popular, because that's not, in most cases, that is not how people expected it to be. But he sees it better because he hears it. He has
a vision.
From guidance.
We've talked about vision.
It's like that. Leadership will work well. But any leadership that is not in that direction will fail. Whether it's in family, whether it's in associations, whether it's in a professional body, that is why we are having challenges. Until the truth is known and we apply the right principle, I'm afraid we may not be able to move forward. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in. In case you wanted to react to any part of that, let me just take a quick break so that I won't need to interrupt you. So do please stay with us. We'll be right back. Hello, thank you very much for staying with us and indeed for joining us if you've just arrived. In fact, you've arrived to hear Kesandu in Oweri's contribution to the program. Good morning, Mr. Kesandu. Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Uncle Yeri, and good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yes, Happy New Week, sir.
Thank you.
I want to sincerely appreciate this topic that was brought up this morning. It is very crucial because it has affected everything that we're doing, homes, politics, and everything. God bless you. So I want to go straight to the issue of Leadership Institute. You see why it is as if it's not working in Nigeria. Most of our political office holders or leaders, in quotes, what they go there to do is to just add that to their CV. But in practical terms, you see somebody that has gone through the tutelage of some of these leadership institutes and can't even practicalize the basics. It becomes a problem. And that's why some people will not be like, why would I even go there? If this man who went through this place could not deliver the basics when it comes to leadership in every sector. Secondly, sir, the problem we have in this country, it has been, everybody can agree with me that it's about leadership. Let me take for instance, if a president passes his convoy in the present situation we have found ourselves, how terrible and how tough the country is, has over 50 cars in his convoy, and still comes out to tell Nigerians, please don't worry, everything will be fine. Is that leadership? The answer is no. So what we're saying is, we Nigerian people, the Nigerian leaders, we even think that is why it's as if it is difficult to impact this leadership on other people. Because the people need the aim of affairs. That is the best way to do leadership. It has to be practicalized. It has to come from self. Over 42 years, someone was governor in Imo State. But till now, people are still remembering what he has done. Where even in the current democratic setting, no one has come close to this among backward. So what we're saying is that people should learn how to be responsible as leaders. Any Nigeria is very possible. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Kezandu. Appreciate your call. Okay, so I'll let you catch up now. There are about two, this one, and if you recall, the one before it.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to be very, very passionate about, all right? But the earlier speaker, before we went on break.
Okay, that was George, I think.
Yeah, he said leadership is innate, you're born with it. But
well, I think he was bringing some spiritual dimensions
I didn't want to say
that. He
was
bringing some spiritual
I didn't want to say that.
To it.
But if you understand that leadership is a skill, skills are learned. That is why we don't rule anybody out. There's nobody. I mean, there are people that are doing
as a candidate for leadership
for leadership.
Okay, to learn to
you
be
don't
a leader.
rule anybody out. We all have the potential for it.
Okay.
Once the potential is there, what we need to do is submit ourselves to the rigors of developing, the process of developing the potentials. Anyone that really wants, I mean, we don't, because when you say it's innate, that means some people have it, some people don't have it. Like we said earlier on, some people are called natural born leaders because it looks like the thing is obvious. But there are some other people in whom these things are not obvious, but they are there at the same time. And if these people have people that help to cultivate, help them to identify. For example, leaders are like eagles. Eagles, I mean, leaders have eagle eyes. All right? As a leader, I can look at people.
This goes back to vision again.
It goes back to vision. Leaders
so they must have a very clear
see in people
vision.
What they don't see in themselves. Leaders see in people what those people don't see in themselves. When you tell them you can do this, they tell you, no, I can't do that. But eventually, they find out that, wow, you were right. But they never knew that thing was there.
So does leadership work by persuasion or sometimes by coercion? And I ask this against the backdrop of the world figure, I think he's well known, Lee Kuan Yew, back in Singapore. There's a lot that was going on, but it was satisfactory for him, his colleagues, and his people. But not all of it was what we understand as democratic. But he was known to be a thinker, and his country followed him respectfully, passionately, and they sort of believed that he knew what he was talking about. That takes a lot of doing, doesn't it, for people to be ready to follow you here? Because somebody has spoken about the followership. I think it was Kezandu, I'm not sure, who said that leadership is one thing. Followership, unko.
Yeah, it was in response to that. That was why I said earlier on that everybody has to accept responsibility. If Nigeria is going to work, it is not just President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We all have a role to play. We all have our work cut out for us, but we must be ready. I mean, there are many people who are not ready to do things, but they just complain and all of that. We must accept, all right?
But you just said that
as a father.
You said that a leader must have strong vision.
Yes.
He must have a strong vision.
A leader must be able to communicate it.
And impart this whole idea to those who are around him, a.k.a. the followers, who will then follow him.
Yes. Talking about Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew was somebody that you call a benevolent dictator.
Yes.
He was referred to as a benevolent. He didn't run a democracy.
No.
It was dictatorship. All right? And, of course, his country was the better for it. It wasn't everybody in the country that liked his style. There were opponents. he had opponents, he had opposition. But you see, if you read what I've put in this book, I'm going to explain briefly if you give me the time.
Okay.
All right.
You're talking about the book,
The Real
Leader.
Who is a real leader? That word real, if we say we have a real leader, that presupposes that we have the fake. If they tell you this thing is original, that means there's a counterfeit somewhere. All right, so if we're talking about being a real leader, that means they are fake leaders. How do you know a real leader? How do I know whether I'm a real leader or I'm a pseudo? I'm a pretender.
How?
How do I know?
How?
Okay, so the word
Is
real,
it from
the word real is an acronym. All right, I just use the word real as an acronym for certain qualities of leadership that are indispensable.
Okay.
If you don't have those qualities, forget it. You are not a real leader. You are a pretender.
A few of them, just a few of them, or it's an extensive list?
No, just 4 of them actually.
Okay, maybe you could just write
Just
those
4 of them.
because
that's why I said the word real is an acronym. R is for responsible.
Okay.
Talking about the responsibility of leadership. I mean, we have seen in our country people step into leadership, maybe public leadership now, for example, but you don't see that sense of responsibility.
Okay.
A leader is responsible for how his people turn out.
I have a caller on the line, so I thought you might give me 1, 2, 3, 4, but it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
I know. You know, it doesn't work like that. So let me bring on Jonah in Nasarawa. Jonah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
All right, then. Please go ahead. You're on air now.
Okay. I will say this amazing. The program is actually an amazing one, which I will say for the very first time following up this program, following up TVC, this is the first time I've concentrated on the program and I got so interested on.
Wow.
Leadership to me. I'm an historian. Leadership to me has to do with consciousness. Leadership also is something.
Consciousness.
It's a background. It's something can actually start from your foundation, like from a background.
Okay.
That is why leadership, you have to get to the 3 stages of learning. From the family, when you are a child, your parent. From the society, which is the second. And from education.
Institutional training.
Leadership, which I would say my brother is now, is areas of leadership now. The areas of leadership is in the area of skill. There is possibility in training leaders through skills. And also, in the areas of consciousness now, there is also an area where leadership has to do from your conscious mind. Because one, Nigeria, for example, let's take Nigeria, for example. If our leaders are conscious people or has conscience, they will. It's another area where they can grow in leadership.
Okay.
And secondly, if our leaders can also get skills, know the importance of leadership, they will know the importance of skills.
I hear you.
So, like today, our education today is totally poor. Totally poor. That is one. And secondly, today our society, parents today, because of the hardship has made a lot of parents now, the level of concentration is not there because of they are trying to make the family keep surviving. It has dealt with their consciousness, and also our background in areas of education are poor. Then that have to start. You start that leadership in areas of education, like that level is where you need to start leadership. If you go to the foreign countries today, their leadership pattern or their leadership policies are totally different. Some of them don't have the consciousness, but some of them have the skills and know the importance of leadership. That is why system works.
Systems work. Okay.
So I will say that today, Nigeria, in areas of leadership, there are a lot of leaders outside there that have this consciousness, but a lot of leaders don't have the skill to bring out that thing from them.
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt you there, but I want to thank you very much for calling in. Thank you very much, Jonah calling in from National. He brought up skill, he brought up consciousness, and he brought up, when he said consciousness and he spoke about skill, I just remember that you had also spoken about leaderships needing to be intentional.
Being intentional, yes.
Intentional. So I wondered if you could actually interchange consciousness about
it.
Yeah,
we can.
Intentionality.
We can. We have to be intentional about it. There has to be deliberate effort on our part. That I'm going to be a change agent. I'm going to be different.
And you must be skillful at it.
And then, yes, it's one thing to have the desire. It's one thing to be intentional. It's another thing to know how to go about it. Okay, so let's start from the home, for example. I'm a father. I'm the leader in my home. I have to be intentional
about that.
About leading my home. I have to be intentional about my children. I have to be intentional. I don't allow things to just float.
And there must be a uniformity of purpose.
There must be.
There must be. If you are leading, there must be a unit. That unit, as an example, there must be a uniformity of purpose.
There must be. So you have to be intentional. All right? And then it's one thing to be intentional. It's another thing to have the skill, the know-how. Okay, I want to do this. How do I do it? There is information out there today. I mean, there are training schools. There are places you go to where they're going to train you, they're going to teach you. And if there's a commitment on your part, and this is not theory. This is not just theory. All right? These are principles that are time-tested. These are principles that we live by.
So what you're doing, Dr. Oladipo, by coming in today is causing us to reflect on these things that we take for granted. We just take for granted that a person grows, he becomes older, and perchance he just might arrive at an age where with some luck he just coincides with somebody and then he finds himself as a leader somewhere. Well, that's a different aspect altogether.
No, that's not how we live our lives. We don't live our lives we live by design.
Well, we should.
We don't live. We don't live accidentally.
We should.
Yeah.
We should live our lives by design.
We should live our lives by design.
Mazi Okoroafo, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Nigerian. Mazi Okoroafo from Sayori, you see, when we talk about leadership, there are tribes in this country, Igbo, outside Yoruba. The North have taken their own share. Now is the turn for the West. When they finish West for 8 years, the pendulum should also move down to leadership to Eastern Nigeria. That is what we call that's what we call unity. A situation whereby somebody or some people sit down and say, it is their turn. It is nobody's turn. And people should know that this power we see, it is God that gives you. That you have billions or trillions in your account, international business, does not make you to have that qualities. To have money is another thing. To spend the money is another thing. To make use of it is another thing. And to have a focus is another thing. That's why sometimes money control. That is why three things that control this in the country are power and money. That is what making people that you see that say it is after. It's not so done that way. At least present government should complete quietly, neatly complete the Western side. 8 good years sound without any. I don't know why people are struggling. Entire one party, from one party you join another party, from one party just where is it? It's not possible. They should know that power belongs to God. Only God will give you the ultimate. Tinubu admission is doing well. Have to complete it. Complete 8 good years. Neat. No houses. No stress.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okoroafo. Really appreciate your call.
It's brought in another dimension.
People are taking, because leadership, as we've said, can be in the family, can be in the club, it can be anywhere.
Yeah, and
can be
each one of these have rules that govern them. Politics, for example, is not as straightforward to say that, politics is a game. It's a game. And it's a, the way we do it here is winner takes all. It's survival of the fittest. You understand? So it's not easy to say, okay, it's the turn of these people, so give it to them. No. You have to negotiate, you have to collaborate with other people and all of that.
This probably also is a leadership skill.
Is leadership skill.
Knowing this.
Is leadership
knowing
skill.
what you've just stated.
Yes, because, I mean, part of the leadership skills we need to have is negotiation, ability to convince other people, ability to... So it's all encompassing, actually. And that's why we're out there, like I said to you. We can't give up on the political class. We keep trying to educate, we keep trying to advocate, and, you know, try to teach, all right? But one of the things we're doing at the moment is take leadership education down the ladder to the young people.
Okay.
So that
catch them young.
Catch them young. If we can put the next 20 years of our lives into educating the younger people.
This is going to have to start at home, because a man's ethical conduct, you know, oftentimes you can trace back to the way he was brought up.
Is home. Home is the first place.
Home is the first place.
Parents are the first teachers.
Now, something, sorry to be jumping you like this. I was just flipping through your book, and something just jumped out at me. You were talking a lot about the things that leadership happen to be. And I saw in there, leadership can be dangerous. So I said, can be dangerous too. Well, how did you mean?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many sides to leadership. People just usually look at the privileges. The things, the good, the perks of office. You know, the privileges that come with being a leader. For example, when I was a kid, I would see my mother serve my dad. And my dad's food would be full of so much. I mean, look at this, look at that. And my own plate would be just maybe one small piece of meat. And I would tell myself when I grow up, I'm going to eat like that. My food is going to be like this. I didn't know that before I would be able to eat like that, I'm going to have to do a lot of work. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So people, I mean, I would look at what dad was eating, but I didn't realize what dad was also doing. Now that I'm a daddy, I don't know whether I'm eating like that yet, because it's a lot of work. So people, leadership is a dangerous terrain. All right, and it's one of the things that people must know about.
But there are people who go in there and wouldn't be any other way. They want to be leaders.
People who fight for political leadership don't know what it means to be leaders.
Okay.
Most of the time, somebody is prodding them, or they're just in it for themselves, or for their clique. All right? If you know what it means to be the president of Nigeria, you are not going to fight much for it.
Exactly.
You will not fight for it.
You know, this reminds me.
You will not fight for it. I told some people, I mean, and I'm not being partisan here. I'm political, but I'm not being partisan here. I said that one of the reasons why I respect our current president is because the reforms introduced from the day of his resumption, you know, in the early months of his resumption, are things that will make him unpopular.
But that wasn't his...
Anybody that is interested in a second term will not do what he has done in the last 2 years. Many people will wait to secure a second term first.
Before they...
Having secured the second term, there's nothing at stake again. There's no more election to contest. So they will now unleash policies.
But that would have cost time.
I mean, policies they have their gestation period.
Yes, so that would have cost time.
It would have also, so I said that, look, if this man was just interested in the next election, he wouldn't do what he's doing. Because these things that he's doing have made him very unpopular.
But, as he has been saying, it is the only way to go. That was what he had
That explained. Is because sometimes leaders have to take tough decisions.
Yes. Because things have been left undone that ought to have been done. And so we've kept on kicking the can down the road. And he says, you know... Sweeping
the dirt under the rug.
Yes. He says, no, let's deal with this. No matter how challenging, no matter how unpopular, and then perhaps even no matter how dangerous, let's go. Because it's not about me, it's about us. You know, it's about us dragging everybody up, if you like.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Oladipo, we've just about run out of time, but...
oh my gosh, we've not even scratched the surface.
It always is like that.
We have not scratched the surface yet.
We often will have less than an hour to talk about these things. But I've also found out, just chatting with you about it, that it can be an exciting venue, arena as well. The leadership.
Leadership is exciting.
it can be very, very
It's exciting. It's exciting. But, of course, the tears, the challenges, the dangers, you know.
So you put a book out
exciting.
about it, The Real Leader,
Yes,
Secrets
sir.
that will set you apart in your leadership,
Your leadership,
journey.
yes. Your
We're going to have
leadership
to
journey.
leave it at that. If I go beyond that, somebody will come and start running around with an invoice. Charging and say, why are you going that far? But I want to thank you, Doctor, for whetting our appetite. Dr. David Oladipo, management consultant, author of The Real Leader. Thank you very much for coming along.
Thank you for having me.
Initiating our thinking about leadership as a discipline. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, that's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.